for silence. Om. Bhagavad Gita, chapter number 8. We'll chant from verse 5 to 11.
Antakale cha mameva smaran muktva kalevaram yah prayati samadbhavam yati nastyatra samshayah yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tyajatyante kalevaram tam tamevaiti kaunteya sada tadbhava bhavitah tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mamanusmara yudhya cha mayyarpita mano buddhihi mame vaishyasya samshayah Abhyasayogayuktena etasananyagamina paramam purusham divyam yati parthanuchintayan kavim puranamanushasitaram Anoraniyam samanusmaredyah Sarvasya dhataramachintya rupam Aditya varnam tamasah parastat Prayana kale manasachalena Bhaktya yukto yoga balena chaiva Bhruvor madhye pranamaveshya samyak Satam param purushamupaiti divyam Yadaksharam veda vido vadanti Vishanti yadyatayo vitaragaha Yadichanto brahmacharyam charanti Tatte padam sangrahena pravakshe
So last week we concluded with verse number 5 and 6. So we're on the 8th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So verse number 5 and 6 it's an important portion of the Gita. Now, these two verses, they tell us that you are responsible for your life. Whatever is happening to you internally and externally, even the environment in which you are placed, positive, negative, it is your own doing. You are responsible for that. So, there are three laws of life which we discussed last week. I'm just recapping. So, verse number 5 talks about the law of causation. Your life, my life, our relationship to the world functions on law of cause and effect. It's called law of causation. The whole world functions on law of causation. So, whatever you are at this moment, at all levels of your personality, physical, emotional, intellectual, spiritual, is because of your own actions from this moment backward. So, if you have put efforts to evolve spiritually in the past, then you are at a particular level as far as your spiritual evolution is concerned. If you have positive emotions, even if somebody is trying to bring you down, somebody is nasty to you, but internally you entertain positive emotions even towards such a person, you sympathize. Action level, you may do what you ought to do. It goes without saying. So, how did you develop these positive emotions? Because of your own actions from this moment backward. If your intellect is developed, if you have clearer thinking, is due to your own efforts. So that is law of causation all about. So you are responsible for your life. There is no extraneous force, extraneous factor responsible for whatever is happening to you, good, bad, indifferent. That is law of causation. Then second point which we discussed was you take direction towards the resultant thought. We discussed that example from physics, that there is an object, and on that object there are two equal forces, vertical force and horizontal force. Both the forces are equal, F1, F2. So the object will not go either in horizontal or vertical direction. It goes in a different direction, diagonal. It's law of physics. So it goes towards the direction where there is no force. That is interesting. So similarly, it's not one thought and towards that you go. Your course of life is towards just one thought. It doesn't function like that because you are entertaining innumerable thoughts and desires. Some of them are positive, some of them are negative, they cancel each other and whatnot. So you go in the direction of the resultant. The common example is nobody want to be in unpleasant situation or circumstances in life over and over again. I'm not talking about once in a while. But why are you placed in that environment? I mean, your resultant has planted you there. So, therefore, it is in your interest to take care of every unit of perception, emotion, action, and thought. Make sure it is positive to the best of your ability. And when you do that, then everything adds up. Then the resultant by default will be towards something higher in life and eventually towards divinity. It doesn't matter what is happening to you externally, even if you are in challenging circumstances, your thoughts will be firmly planted on the supreme reality. All your activities you will steer towards supreme reality because resultant is so strong. By default, it is taking you towards the direction of the supreme reality. So, verse number 5 talked about these two laws. And then verse number 6, he told us, as you think, so you become. Extremely important. If your thoughts are positive, you will be in the positive environment, period. If your thoughts are negative, you will be in a negative environment. So you create your own environment. How you do that? By entertaining a particular thought. So if your thoughts are very worldly, mundane, materialistic, sensual, that's what you are. You will find yourself in that particular environment. See, when we say thought, you become as you think, understood, is followed by the actions. It starts at the thought level, thought grossifies as an action. So, similarly, if your thoughts are on something higher, every day you are taking these higher values of life, slowly but surely you will find yourself going in that direction. You will be in the company of like minded people. You'll be in a positive environment, you'll be in a spiritual environment. So, as you think, so you become. That's the law of life. And it is applicable moment to moment and also in the future. So if you don't understand future, at least you must understand the principle. Law does not change. If you do not put any efforts to fine tune your personality, you will continue to be the same person. There is no magic which is going to happen that in 2026, 1st January 2026, you are going to be a different person. You will continue to be what you are, but you have the potential to be a brand new person if you are putting efforts every single day of your every single day. So this is what we discussed last week, verse number 5 and 6. So in case you missed, if somebody is joining for the first time, make sure that you listen to the recordings of last 1 or 2 lectures. I think when you register, the team, they are sending you the YouTube link. By default, you should receive that link. So any questions on verse number 5 and 6?
Quick questions, Swamiji.
Yeah, who is asking the
What?
question?
Gitu.
Where I don't see you.
Oh, sorry. Sorry. So,
Ah,
quick question.
yes.
What if you get negative thoughts? How do you direct them? How do you redirect them? I mean, I keep doing my chanting. That's the way, right?
See, at that moment, you can't do anything.
Mm.
The fact that you are entertaining positive thoughts or negative, let's say negative thoughts, I mean, you have been sowing the seeds of those negative thoughts, negative feelings.
Okay.
Therefore, at that particular moment, you cannot change them. So it's
Okay.
like if you are not healthy, I'm just giving you an example.
Right.
Somebody has put on 20 pounds extra, 25 pounds extra weight. You're
Right.
supposed to be 130 pounds, you are 160 pounds. At
Right.
that moment, you cannot do anything.
Yeah.
Are you with me?
Slowly. Yes. Yes. Slowly by
But
slow.
what you can do is you can become aware.
Yeah.
Yes, I have put on 25, 30 pounds excess weight is quite a lot.
Mm.
And definitely I need to knock it off.
Right.
So after 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, you can knock off. It's not a big deal if you put efforts. So
Right.
similarly, if you entertain negative thoughts, you find yourself entertaining negative thoughts, what you can do to begin with is to become aware of these negative thoughts
Okay.
and avoid spreading them further. So that
And so,
also
how do
you
you?
won't be able to
Yeah.
do much if that
Yeah.
force is too much. At that moment, you may not be able to do anything about that.
Right.
But the fact that you are aware, you're becoming
Yeah.
aware,
Yeah.
that itself is a beginning to deal
Okay.
with those thoughts. And eventually, the permanent solution lies in getting this knowledge and purifying your personality. So that is a long-term solution. The
Yeah.
short-term solution is you become aware.
Okay. But then, what do you do? What do you say to yourself when you're aware? Okay, like this negative thought came, so you just say, cut this negative thought to yourself, or cancel it. I have nothing to do with it. Like, you have to say something, right, to yourself. Like,
You will not be able to do it. This is what I'm telling you. It depends on how powerful is your intellect. Thoughts and feelings, they belong to the mind. Intellect controls the mind.
right.
If intellect is weak, mind will overpower your personality. You will not be able to do anything. So it boils down to putting efforts every
Mhm.
day,
Yeah.
fortifying your intellect,
Mm.
and then strong intellect can control the mind.
Okay. And how do you do that?
This is what we all are trying to do. Study and reflection on Vedanta
Okay.
every single day.
Okay.
Half
Thank
an
you.
hour in the morning is enough if you are new to this subject.
Yeah.
Systematic, methodic study of
Mm.
Vedanta,
Mm.
slowly it will fortify your intellect.
Thank you so much.
Amiji, how do you recognize if the thought is positive or negative?
Any negative thought will agitate you. No positive thought will agitate you. So it's as simple as that. Any selfish thought is negative. It will agitate you. Any selfish thought at the cost of others is really self-centered. So that these thoughts they really bother you. You have sleepless nights. So if you're having sleepless nights over and over again, chances are that you are entertaining highly self-centered thoughts. So more selfish the thought, more the agitations. This is how you understand them. Yeah. Ramnath has a question.
I'm Ramnathji.
Yes.
So my question is sometimes it is not very black and white, right? Which is positive, which is negative, or we are caught up in a situation where we are it is good for some if you are selfish, while it affects other, right? Because there are multiple parties involved and you are in the middle. So, and you have to decide. And one party wants you to be selfish, other party is basically suffering. So, if you, in your absence of your selfishness, they will also benefit. So, in such circumstances, it's almost like you cannot do anything.
See, you need to understand the principle. Any self-centered, forget about others. You are responsible for your life. You're not responsible for anybody else's life. The moment you entertain self-centered thought, it will produce mental agitations. If that selfishness is at the cost of others, when we say at the cost of others, meaning we find people manipulating and doing all sorts of things to be successful. That is at the cost of others. If you are self-centered, you're harming yourself. But if you are self-centered at the cost of others, you will have sleepless nights. So you have no control, you have no jurisdiction on others' thoughts, how they manage their life. You are responsible for your life. So you should be true to your own conscience. Forget about others. If you feel this is going against my conscience, this is highly self-centered, then you correct the course of your life. You perform unselfish action using your intellect. So you got nothing to do with others. You are responsible for what is happening to you, good or bad. So that's the principle. Are you okay, Ramnath?
Yes, Ji. And just one more question, like it almost appears like I don't have control over my thoughts. It just keeps coming rapidly, but I have probably some control over whether I can act on that thought or not.
See, it is one and the same thing. If you understand chronology of an action, Vasana produces thought, thought produces desire, desire produces action. This is called as chronology of an action. Vasana is nothing but unmanifest desire. So if your vasanas are unselfish, thoughts will be unselfish, desires will be unselfish, actions will be unselfish. If your vasanas are selfish, thoughts will be selfish, desires will be selfish, actions will be selfish. So just because you don't act on, this is what you're trying to ask perhaps, I'm trying to understand your question. You may not get an opportunity to act on certain actions, or it may not be conducive for you to act. But that does not mean you are not entertaining thoughts internally. So it all boils down to what vasanas you have. By default, they will manifest. Positive vasanas, thought, desire, action will be positive. If it is mixture of both, it will be likewise. Does that answer your question, Ramnath?
Yes, Ji, definitely. But again, like vasanas, I have no control over it. It's like beyond me. It is like I'm by default program mode.
No. See,
So
I think you're debating now. You are born because of your vasana. You created your vasanas, bought by default. Nobody gave you that vaccine. When you're born, and then somebody gave you a vaccine, and those vasanas were planted to you. This is what I said in the introduction. So you're negating the whole thing. You are responsible for what you are right now, positive or negative. Accept it. It's not easy, I know. It's very convenient to blame others. My parents, my wife, society, environment. You are responsible for what you are internally at all levels of your personality. Don't complicate. Therefore, I said life is based on law of causation, cause and effect. If everything is positive about you, you have paid the price for that. Your own past efforts from this moment backwards is the cause. If you are entertaining negative thoughts all the time, once in a while, doesn't matter, you are responsible for it. So if you understand this law of causation, life becomes very simple. You get that clarity. And also it gives you that conviction to change your life in future. See, that's the beauty. Forget about the past. You have no control on the past. What can you do? Even if you regret, can you go back into the past and fix it? No way. But future is in your hands. So you can build your future the way you want, and you can also negate your past in the process. So that's the magic of human life. All right. So is group okay? Yeah. Eve? Yes.
Oops. I apparently need some clarification because most of my life, normally my life, I sleep extremely well up until what's been occurring in my country the last few months. And so what's keep the angst and the thoughts that are keeping me up at night are not selfish. They're actually unselfish. I'm thinking of the hurt that's happening, not just to my countrymen, but to immigrants. We all know what's going on. And I'm losing sleep over it, and it's not for me. So help me to clarify that, please.
See, it is, you have no control on external forces. As simple as that. You have control on your actions, isn't it?
Yeah.
You have no control on somebody else's actions, number one. Number two, it is unreasonable expectations. A particular political party comes to a power, for argument's sake. I'm not getting into the details.
Right.
So you have to understand that they function in a particular way. They have their own ideas and ideologies. We're not getting into what is right, what is wrong, right? They have particular idea and ideology. They function in a particular way. So you have no control on that. So it is unreasonable expectation. See, I'll give you a simple example. If somebody is short-tempered and that person keeps on losing his temper at a drop of the hat, maybe that person is your boss. So you have no control on that person's temper. He's short-tempered, he will get angry at a drop of the hat. So you expect him not to get angry is not his fault. It is, problem is with you, in the sense lack of assessment. So when you do not assess things as they are, which involves somebody's nature, what is happening in a society or a country, it produces mental agitations. And third point is, see, it's a passing phenomena. Things change. 2 years down the line is going to be different. 5 years down the line is going to be something else. So nothing is permanent. Everything has to change. It passes.
It passes. Yes, it's keeping me up. I'm thinking, and perhaps you can clear this up too, that there's something that I should do, that I should be writing letters or making signs or having my voice be heard, or because it's out of my control, just allow it to pass. I don't know. I'm going through this right now and losing sleep.
Christ says, iniquity shall be there in this world. Iniquity shall be there in this world. Woe unto you if you are the cause of it.
Okay.
Iniquity shall be there in this world. There will be right, there will be wrong. There will be unrighteousness, there will be crime, there will be this. You can't do anything. Somebody has a crazy thinking, there are crazy people. Iniquity shall be there in this world. Woe unto you if you are the cause of it. So you have control on yourself, isn't it? You don't do anything negative. You entertain positive feelings and thoughts. That you can do. But you cannot wipe out the iniquity from this world. You can't. This is what you are saying.
Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, welcome. All right. Let's move on to verse number 7.
तस्मात् सर्वेषु कालेषु मामनुस्मरयुध्य च मय्यर्पितमनो बुद्धिः मामे वैश्यस्य संशयः तस्मात् सर्वेषु कालेषु मामनुस्मरयुध्य च मय्यर्पितमनो बुद्धिः मामे वैश्यस्य संशयः.
Tasmat, therefore. So it's a logical conclusion based on verse number 5 and 6. So he is concluding here. So whenever in Bhagavad Gita he says tasmat, therefore, it's a conclusion. Therefore, at all times, remember me and fight. Fight meaning act. Doesn't matter what action, what activity you are engaged in. With mind and intellect absorbed in me, you shall without doubt come to me alone. Again, it's a law. As you think, so you become. Now, again, it's a very important verse. When Krishna says, at all times, remember me, and then you perform whatever actions you're performing, it is important for you to understand this principle. Most people believe that there is spiritual path and then there is worldly path. 99.99% people have that misunderstanding, that I study every day in the morning. Maybe a few times in a week, I go to a church or a temple, right? Maybe I do some rituals. So I have taken care of my spiritual path. Then the rest of the time is my worldly path. My family, my profession, my entertainment, or whatever activities I am engaged in. So this is spiritual path and this is worldly path. There is no such thing. You could be in a so-called spiritual field and highly worldly. You're only thinking about yourself. What can I get? Name, fame, money, or focus is only on yourself. Or you could be in medicine, you could be in law, you could be in business, you could be in politics, you could be in sports, you could be a student, doesn't matter. But your thoughts are on something higher, something beyond self-centered interest. And when you take it from the absolute level, your thoughts are firmly planted on the divinity, on supreme reality. You have understood that to reach that divinity, to reach supreme reality is my ultimate mission in life. And whatever activities I am engaged in, they are means to an end. So what is the definition of spirituality? This is where you get. At all times, remember me, me meaning supreme reality. Where are your thoughts? That is the acid test. If your thoughts are on something higher, see, even in day-to-day life, I'm not talking from very hi-fi level, from simple level. Even in your day-to-day transactions, if your thoughts are on something higher, you genuinely think in terms of welfare of others. You're contacting your partner every day. You're contacting your family every day. So your thoughts are on doing your duties to the best of your ability, as opposed to claiming my right. This is me. Husband says, this is my right. Wife says, this is my right. It's a highly self-centered activity. But you genuinely think in terms of what can I do for him or her. You function with that attitude. In your work, in your own profession, you are genuinely functioning to help others, not unintelligently understood. That's your attitude. So that's what I mean by where are your thoughts? You could be in politics, you could have all the power, and it's a very good tool to change society, to help people, to bring about transformation in the society. So though you may have all the power, but your thoughts are on helping the society or a nation. That is being spiritual. So therefore, there is no such thing called as this is spiritual path, this is worldly path. And that is where most people, they go wrong. They innocently, they genuinely believe, I'm saying my prayers, I go to a temple, I attend classes, fine, all these things are great. But the rest of the time is diametrically opposite. You may pray and pray genuinely with tears in your eyes. And the moment you come out of the prayer, you may start preying on others. P-R-E-Y. P-R-A-Y, same pronunciation. You may pray genuinely, and also you may pray genuinely on others. P-R-E-Y. Because people don't understand. They believe that this is spiritual path. Okay, I done my duty to God now. I taken care of my spirituality. Now let me take care of the world. And the world I can function. I may destroy the world. And still I may claim that I'm a spiritual person. Why? Because I'm wearing white clothes. I'm wearing this mala. I'm having this tika on my forehead. I cut my hair short. Nothing to do with spirituality. A demon might be sitting in that attire. On the other hand, you may ask somebody walking on the Wall Street wearing Armani suit, having his office on 65th floor, but highly, highly spiritual, because thoughts are on something higher. He or she works for the welfare of others. That is the beginning of spirituality. And from the ultimate sense, your thoughts are firmly planted on the supreme reality. So that's what he says. At all times, remember me, meaning supreme reality. But you can't do that. If you cannot identify with your partner to begin with, if you don't serve your partner at home, in your own profession, you cannot work for the welfare of your company or business. How can you think of the supreme reality? So when you start functioning with this attitude, the word which we use is loka sangraha. It's a fascinating word. Work for loka sangraha in life, meaning for the welfare of others. Using your intellect goes without saying. Otherwise, you'll be used as a doormat. You use your intellect and function. You entertain that attitude 24/7 wherever you are. So when you do that, gradually you will find your thoughts are shifting to supreme reality. That's what he means. At all times, remember me. So it's not going to happen overnight. And once you get that fixation, you carry on with your obligatory duties. Fixation, the thought is fixed on the supreme reality. That's my purpose in life. That's what I mean by fixation. And then you do what you ought to do in life. At home, at work, it goes on. But you function in the spirit of renunciation. You do your duties in the spirit of renunciation because your thoughts are firmly planted on the reality. So that's what Krishna means. At all times, remember me and perform daily activities in your life. And what brings you to that state is your knowledge. There is no other thing. Your daily association with this knowledge. To begin with, knowledge, but just once in a while you read Bhagavad Gita, Bible, or whatever spiritual book is not going to transform your personality. So your daily association with this knowledge, your systematic study and reflection brings about that transformation in your personality. Slowly your thoughts, desires, they shift. Right now you're stuck to selfish desires, worldly desires. It's a question of more or less. See, sometimes we find, that screw gets really rusty and it becomes tight. The nut and bolt I'm talking about. And you get a wrench. I mean, nothing happens. If screw is big, the wrench might break, but it will not move. So what do? You get WD-40 and you spray, nicely you spray. It's not that immediately it's going to become loose. So you leave it for a while. Next day you go and check. No, still it is tight. So you need to do it a couple of times. Maybe after a week or 10 days or whatever. Slowly you try with the wrench, the screw starts moving, isn't it? So exactly Same thing. Our personality has become rusty right now. So therefore, it is not moving. Rusty in the sense, all self-centered thoughts due to ignorance. You did not have access to this knowledge. So therefore, all you can think about is just me, my family. That's the definition of selfishness. Your thoughts are not moving towards the higher. Your thoughts are not moving towards the divinity. So WD-40 is your daily association with this knowledge. So that's what removes that rust, and slowly selfish desires, they start falling off. You don't even have to worry about them. Just focus on getting this knowledge and carry on with your daily life, whatever you are doing. And as you get established in this knowledge, or to the extent you get established in this knowledge, you understand the hollowness of pursuing this world. When we say you under hollowness of pursuing this world, you understand that there is no happiness in this world at all. There is no happiness in the external world. And we all are trying to find happiness in the external world. That's the problem. Nothing wrong with the world. You could have family, you could have business, you could have wealth, you could have name. It's okay. Why not? But you're not going to find happiness in that per se. So this is how knowledge helps. That you start understanding the hollowness of what this world has to offer. And
Amaji, one quick.
once that happens, you maintain objectivity in whatever you do. That's the another outcome. Otherwise, slightest opportunity, you get sucked into the world, get involved in all extroverted activities, which have a shelf life. Nothing wrong with family, but all the time family, family, family. Then you go through ups and downs. Just do your duties and get out. That's what we mean by black market value. Oh, my child, my grandchildren, fine, you do your duties, you do what you have to do. But if you are trying to find happiness there, you're going to be disappointed. You may have wealth, all the wealth in the world. Why not? But if your happiness is dependent on that wealth, you will be in trouble. A few days back, I saw a fascinating documentary on YouTube. It's called as 48 Hours. Actually, it's based on real crimes in America. And some of them are very, very philosophical. So one particular episode is called as Paradise Lost. In fact, I was thinking about showing it to the class members, those who are staying in Michigan. We all can get together and watch that. Fascinating. So it's about a US billionaire. So he made a lot of money, whatever, $500 million, $1 billion he made at the age of 33, 34. And with that money, he retired in Costa Rica. He built a mansion for himself. It looks like a Star Trek house, 4 levels and all sorts of things. Diamonds lying here and there, everything he did. He and his wife, they went there. And 5,000 acre property in the middle of nowhere. Only way you can access is through helicopter. Sounds very, I want that house. Could be our reaction. To cut the long story short, within 6 months or 1 or 2 years, both husband and wife became highly suicidal. And that man, he actually ended up committing a suicide. He shot himself. And wife she was innocent, but she was falsely accused of the crime which she did not commit. And 3 or 4 times she was charged. Same in US, once they declare you innocent, you're out. But the rules are different there. So third time, they declared her innocent. She spent some time in the jail. She packed her bag and came to USA. Okay, I'm safe here. You know? So the whole point is, when they bought that house with $500 million, $1 billion they had, within few years, both of them became suicidal. And that man actually ended up committing suicide. This is what we mean by black market value. So there's nothing wrong. I'm not saying you should not go to Costa Rica, you should not go to wherever, It is not in a place. This is the point. It is all internal. And you are pegging your happiness on the external world where there is no happiness. So once you understand that within, that's what we use the term. You understand the hollowness of what world has to offer. There is nothing. It's an empty shell. So you are trying to find happiness in an empty shell. Ignorant person does that. You're too obsessed with your fitness. You should be health conscious. But if your happiness is dependent on your physical health, at some stage you're going to lose it. Age is going to catch up with all of us, however fit you may be. I mean, you can go on multiplying examples. So therefore, if this analysis hits you, see, you change the direction of your life. And when I say you change the direction of your life internally, that's what we said in the beginning. There is no such thing called a spiritual path or a worldly path. Your daily association with this knowledge brings about that transformation, and then you stay put wherever you are. But internally, you are a different person. And when that happens, then verse number 7 applies. Therefore, at all times, remember me and perform your activities, any action, with mind and intellect absorbed in me, supreme reality, this knowledge. You shall without doubt come to me alone. So it applies from relative level and absolute level. Relative level, slowly your life will change, isn't it? Absolute level, eventually you will merge with supreme reality. Somebody had, yes, Satyavank.
Yeah, so one quick clarification for a spiritual initiate. Initially, having the thoughts on the welfare of the others. Would
Sorry,
that
I
be
missed it. Initially what?
Yeah, for a spiritual initiate, having thoughts on the welfare of the others, is that synonymous of having thoughts on me or supreme reality?
That's the way to supreme reality. See, what is supreme reality? Supreme reality is the substratum of everybody's personality, of the whole world. So how can you think of a supreme reality when you cannot think of any other being other than you?
Yeah.
So therefore, start with welfare of your partner. I mean, genuinely, you identify with your partner, with your family members. You feel one with them. There is no selfishness involved. So if you do that, gradually your thoughts will expand. So it is the beginning of spirituality. So what most people they do, they straight away they try to plant their thoughts on the supreme reality. But if you look at their conduct, their thoughts, the way they manage their life, I mean, there is no comparison. It's like chalk and cheese, because they have it is another selfish thought that I want to reach supreme reality. So nothing has changed internally. See, therefore, we often say, you must have heard me saying this, if you genuinely serve one person, you are serving the whole world. if you genuinely serve one person, which is your partner, genuinely, you identify with him or her, it is as good as serving the whole world. When are you going to get the opportunity to serve the whole world? If you, and even if you get, if you cannot serve your partner well, you will mess up the whole world. So don't have to worry about, when will I work for the welfare of others? Wherever you are, whatever you are, in that circle, you think about the welfare of others. And that could be just one person. It could be your profession, whatever. Each one is placed differently in life. That's the way to supreme reality. Or that is supreme reality.
Thank you.
So good. Are we okay? Verse number 8, please.
अभ्यासयोगयुक्तेन चेतसा नान्यगामिना परमं पुरुषं दिव्यम् याति पार्थानुचिन्तयन् अभ्यासयोगयुक्तेन चेतसा नान्यगामिना परमं पुरुषं दिव्यम् याति पार्थानुचिन्तयन्.
With the unswerving mind made steadfast by the practice of yoga, abhyasa yuktena chetasa, and meditating, O Partha or Arjuna, one goes to the supreme, resplendent being. Very, very important verse. If you understand the message here, you will get absolute clarity about what is spiritual path. If you don't understand what he's saying, then it doesn't matter how much you read, what efforts you put, you will remain a confused person. So I'm going to explain. It's quite simple. So the second topic starts with this verse number 8. 8 to 14 is second topic, is called through our steadfast yoga and meditation, you reach Brahman, you reach supreme reality. So in this topic, he gives integrated spiritual practices for all the seekers. Now, when he says, with the unswerving mind made steadfast by the practice of yoga. So what is this yoga? And how this yoga makes your mind unswerving, meaning you get that fixation. Mind does not go towards the world. It does not chase desires. So the basic principle is desire is the barrier between human being and divinity. You need to understand this. It is due to desires we are not with divinity, or desires have created that separation from divinity. Divinity is our original nature. That's what we are. But due to desires, there is a separation between human being and God. So therefore, your life's mission is to purify your desires to begin with, and ultimately you need to eliminate your desires. You cannot straight away eliminate before you purify, isn't it? So you need to purify your desires, and then you need to eliminate your desires. And total elimination of desires is called a state of self-realization or God realization. And desires are at 3 levels of our personality: physical level, emotional level, thought level. Or you can say action level, feelings level, and thought level, at body, mind, and intellect. So therefore, scriptures, they prescribe 3 traditional practices. Can we have the chart, please, Makran? Try to memorize this chart or try to really understand. If you understand this chart, your spiritual journey will be absolutely clear, crystal clear. If you don't understand this, you will never understand anything. You may read Upanishads, you may read this book, you may read that book, but you will remain a confused person. So come back. So to purify your desires, to begin with, you need karma yoga, bhakti yoga, and jnana yoga. So karma yoga is path of action, bhakti yoga is path of devotion, and jnana yoga is path of knowledge. Karma yoga is nothing but working for the welfare of others. Doesn't matter what you are doing. Home, do your duties. In your own profession, don't work just for name, fame, money, salary, perks. All that is incidental. Genuinely, you are working for your profession or a business. That's the meaning of Loka Sangra. So that is Karma Yoga. Bhakti Yoga is that attitude of gratitude towards the providence. Bhakti Yoga is nothing but surrender to this knowledge. And Jnana Yoga is what we are studying, not to become scholars, but to understand what is permanent and what is impermanent in life. Nitya Anitya Viveka Vicharam. This is how Adi Shankaracharya describes it. That constant reflection, that constant thinking of what is permanent and what is impermanent in life. Body, mind, intellect, and whatever experiences happen at the level of body, mind, intellect, everything is impermanent. What is permanent? The supreme reality is permanent. Everything else is just a passing phenomena. So that's what is meant by knowledge, the knowledge of the scriptures. So every seeker needs all three paths. Therefore, we use the word integrated spiritual practices. But it depends on your personality. If you are more of an intellectual person, then your effort should be focused on study and reflection. But that does not mean you don't need knowledge. That does not mean you don't need devotion. That does not mean you don't need action. But the leaning is more towards the knowledge. If you are an active person, then you must plunge into action. But still, you need devotion. Still, you need a little bit of knowledge. So you need to find out that proportion by analyzing your personality. And once you do that, once you assess your inner personality, you need to make that adjustment and focus on a particular path more compared to other. So when you plunge into these three spiritual practices, meaning your life revolves around these three spiritual practices, bulk of your desires, they are gone. That's what we mean by quality of your desire improves and the quantity drops. And when bulk of your desires are gone, you reach a state called uparati. English translation is withdrawal, which leads to dharana, concentration. And concentration leads to dhyana. Dhyana means meditation. So meditation is the last lap of your spiritual journey. And in meditation, your lingering desires are dissolved. And when that happens, you reach a state of self-realization. So when he says, with the unswerving mind made steadfast, he is talking about that state of uparati or withdrawal. Now, how you reach that state of uparati or withdrawal is by karma yoga, bhakti yoga, and jnana yoga. And when we use the word uparati or withdrawal, it is nothing but disinterested interest in whatever world has to offer. Dispassionate passion. You remain where you are, but you have, relatively speaking, no value for what world is offering to you. You may have name, you may have fame, you may have wealth, everything is positive in your life. But you don't care for all these things. You just do your obligatory duties in a spirit of detachment. In the family, you function with the same attitude. You do your duties towards your spouse, towards your children, but you maintain that spirit of renunciation in and through your obligatory duties. You're not enamored by the world, by what world has to offer. You get wealth, fine. You don't care. It is there, it is there. You're living in a nice big house, fine, why not? But you're not enamored by that. So that's what we mean by that attitude of inner abstraction. That is a state of withdrawal, because bulk of your desires are gone, desires are purified. And when that happens, you are able to concentrate on whatever you are doing in life. Full concentration. Profession, you can concentrate. Lecture, study, you can concentrate because your desires are not bothering you. See, otherwise your desires are going helter skelter. So that is called as dharana. And as you continue putting efforts, you become meditative or contemplative. It's called the same thing. Your thoughts get firmly planted on the supreme reality. They don't waver at all. So it is a state, it is an effect, it is not a practice. Contemplation or meditation is not a practice. It is the state, it is the effect of your spiritual practices. Are you following the thought flow? So you just remain where you are. I am repeating it. You change internally. Externally, you may toe the line. You have to toe the line. See, just as how we play with children, age group 6, 7, 8, 9. You may play with them, but do you have value for what the toy world has to offer? Are you following the thought flow? So you have reached that state of operati, but you don't give lecture to children. Hey, why are you playing with the toys? What is in the toy world? Which adult will do that? So similarly, you remain wherever you are. Your own spouse, your own family members, your own friends, your own colleagues. Most of 99.99% of them, due to ignorance, they are innocent. They will be totally attached to the world. And there is nothing you can do about that. So you just toe their line. Okay, you have to go for some function. Okay, you go. You can't say I have no value for social interaction. I understood the hollowness of all that. Something is wrong with you. If necessary, you go there. You go for a party, you dance. You toe the line. But internally, you are a different person altogether. So desire is the barrier between human being and God. Desires are at three levels of our personality: action level, emotional level, intellectual level. So how do you deal with these desires? Three spiritual practices: path of action, path of devotion, path of knowledge. And when you practice these practices in your day-to-day life, your personality is purified. Bulk of your desires are gone. And you reach a state of withdrawal, in mental withdrawal, not physical withdrawal, which is called as uparati, which leads to dharana, meaning concentration, because your desires are not bothering you. And as you continue, you become meditative or contemplative. That is when you have that 24/7 fixation on your ultimate goal in life. And through meditation, you reach the ultimate state of self-realization. So try to master that chart. Can we project it one more time, Akran? Because if you do not understand this chart, whole life you will remain a confused person. That's the common mistake people make. They read all sorts of books, but the basics they don't understand. So now you read a translation. It's quite straightforward. With the unswerving mind made steadfast by the practice of yoga, karma yoga, bhakti yoga, jnana yoga. Understood. You get that concentration. Meditating O Pártha, that is dhyan. One goes to the supreme resplendent being, that is state of self-realization. So step by step you progress on the spiritual path. You don't have to worry about when will I reach a state of meditation or dharana. Don't worry, just focus on every unit of your effort. If cause is perfect, effect will be perfect. All right, so let's conclude with verse number 8. It's already time up. So are we okay? Any quick question, maybe 1 or 2 minutes I can give?
A quick thing, Amitji. Up until now, I always thought that it was either karma yoga or jnana yoga or bhakti yoga or one of the path you should follow. This gave me today a really clear understanding of they are all three important and how they help us target all three levels of mind, body, and intellect. So that was really helpful. Thank you. Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for the session.
All right, so I'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Amitji.
Thanks, Amitji.
Thank you, Amitji. Hari Om.
Thank you, Amitji.